is there a point in time that you feel like you can mark off where like I either one did my best work here or two had the most fun here?
Damn, that was a complicated question.
Because I still struggle with that myself. Like I think I had the most fun when I was with CJ doing the threat level black stuff, but then I think of how much fun I had doing other stuff. But I think also with my street fights with CJ and Tyler, but then different matches I've had. Like I've never had a certain area where I could just say, guys, this period of time, that was me. It seems like I've just been all over the place.
I think the most I accomplished was like when So when WCW went under and TNA was doing their pay-per-views every Tuesday. Yeah, I was doing their syndicated show. We'd film 4 episodes down there. I would just be a job guy on 2 of them. So I did that in Tennessee, and then I worked the Mid-South Coliseum like 4 times. That was, the building's not even in use anymore, and it was the site for like the Andy Kaufman versus Jerry Lawler match. And there's not many guys in this area that can say they wrestled there. No. Honestly, in this area, I think it's like me and Steve Boz, because Boz came down and worked me and Lethal Lee. Sure. If you remember him. Yep. Me and Lee had some epic battles with the Naturals, Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens in Tennessee. So I don't know if it was the most fun I had, but the most learning and the most I accomplished, I feel, was in Tennessee. When that run came to an end and I just didn't want to drive there anymore, in the early 2011, when me and Jeff first teamed, we formed like our version of the Clique with Paulie Tomaselli, Dave Rydell, Backwoods Brown, and we helped each other get bookings. We didn't go anywhere. If you saw one of us, you saw all of us. Nobody really ever talked trash because I used to have the reputation to fight people all the time. So I never fought anybody. Don't tell me, I never fought anybody, but everybody thought I was going to kill them. I smartened people up in the ring a little bit, but I wasn't going to. I never got into like a fist fight, but there was all kinds of rumors about me. And I would do stuff, I pulled a gun on a tag team one time and said, if you don't go for the finish, I'm going to shoot one of you. And like, it was a joke. It was a joke. It wasn't, but I didn't mean it to be like serious.
Wrestling, those stories can travel quick and be distorted rather wildly. So
people still come up to me and say, did you really pull a gun on so-and-so? I go, yes. But yes, I would say the most fun I had was Tennessee, where I learned the most. Well, no, where I learned the most and where I accomplished the most was Tennessee. But I had a great deal of fun. But being up here with my buddies, to be honest with you, the most fun I'm having right now, and this is from the bottom of my heart, 100%, is watching Jordan succeed. I was on Monday Night Raw as an EMT a few weeks ago, or 2 months ago now in June. I don't know if you saw that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So I was at EMT for the Cody Rhodes segment after, and I was backstage at Hell in a Cell doing extra work. And so everyone calls me, hey man, I saw you on TV, the EMT, oh, this is awesome. 2 weeks later, Jordan gets a call to go to AEW and ends up working a dark match against Hobbs and Starks. And I think that was the first time ever. I had people tell me it was the first time ever that a father and son appeared on opposing wrestling companies since Dustin and Dusty did it.
Wow.
And never in the history of AEW. People are like, oh yeah, the Guns are there. I said, the Guns are on the same show, not opposite companies.
Holy, that's really cool. So, really cool.
After wrestling 22 years, you've seen everything, or 20 years that you've seen everything. And then all of a sudden something like that happens. You're like, holy shit. Wow.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I got the backstage stuff because Kenny Dykstra is now the head of the Extra Talent. And if you remember Kenny, Kenny was an OVW guy that when I worked with Kenny Wayne in Tennessee, he called Danny Davis and said, I got this great looking kid, jacked, come have him do job matches. So I was going to Ohio Valley trying to work my way into a contract for almost a year and a half. And all I would do is work the house shows. I would do like a little 5-minute match, do like the job there. Then I would help out at the live shows that were taped for WWE because of the OVW thing. So I was there with Kenny and Ziggler and Johnny Jeter, Aaron Stevens. I was there with all those guys, and they all knew me. And then John Laryngitis came down, and he. It was me and Robbie Dower were the last two that were at OVW with Cornette. And Robbie was doing backstage, and I was doing. We were the last two like Chicago guys. He was from Windy City. They brought us both in and said, "Hey kids, you can't get hurt here because this is a company, so we're gonna have to let you go." So and then we weren't able to come down to do jobs anymore. So, but Kenny reached out to me, and he's like, "Hey man, are you still working? Are you in good shape?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm good shape." But he's like, "Well, come on down for this." So he booked me, and watching Jordan do this stuff, and like you just saw him at Impact and AEW, and a few weeks before the AEW, he was doing the Young Boys stuff with Vic Capri at New Japan's pay-per-view. I mean, that's the most fun I have now, is watching him succeed. So.
And I've known the kid for so long, so every time he gets excited, I love. And for those of you who might be thinking, "Oh, it's his son, of course he's going to put him over," I have a car full of guys I'm going to be taking down to Spartan Wrestling, Alabama, September 17th. Myself and Tyler are doing a tag team now. There are two people I reached out to. One person who, if I can get him in a car just to pick his brain, I will, Vic Capri. And the next person was, who is the one person I would want to be in a car with who could use the experience, and I would be proud to say I got him on a show, and I got a hold of Jordan. He's unable to make the show, but he was the second guy I contacted because I love spending time with him, and I love seeing him take advantage of the opportunities he has. So we will have him on, but guys, be sure to check him out as well.
Yeah. And he's done everything the right way. Like I did him no favors, right, Mike? I mean,
not at all.
I've been a jerk for 90% of my career. I have my group of guys that I chum around with, and I don't venture outside of that group. And he was going to Warrior Wrestling and doing all this stuff for them, and he started befriending people. One night I called him, and I said I wanted to know what time he was going to be home, and hello, I go, "Oh, who's this?" "This is Rosa." Rosa, and I'm like, "Oh, Rosa, that's Thunder Rosa. Nice to, Oh, I'm with Jordan." And then, hold on, I give you the phone. So I'm thinking I'm talking to Jordan. It's Mercedes Martinez. She takes the phone, and I'm like, okay, guys, I get it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been one thing after another. And Silas has called me a couple times and said, "Dude, your kid's doing great." Yeah. Dave Hero just called me and said, the reason why Jordan got to do the bringing the gear back and forth on the Impact stuff was because he looked professional. His hair was done. He was wearing a nice polo shirt. He wasn't covered in tattoos. He looked like that could be his job, Yeah. And guys are always calling me and putting him over, and he's real respectful. And he, even when I try to goad him into saying stuff like, "Hey man, this guy sucks, huh?" And he's like, "No, he's all right. He's cool." I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
He's young and carries himself much more older than he is in terms of presentation. He's very respectful. And anywhere you see him, he belongs there. You're not like, "What is this kid doing there?" Or you talk to him and go, "He doesn't belong." He opens his mouth when he knows it's opportune to open his mouth, and then just takes in information, and he gets himself over by looking and carrying himself in such a professional way, and then just keeps getting sneaky better and better. Like, I remember when I was working with him, and I'm like, "For the love of God, Jordan." And then it would be just 2 months, and he's doing something. I'm like, "Where the fuck did you even learn that?" Well, I saw it, and I was watching, I was taking notes, and then I asked somebody, it's like, "Oh, that's exactly what you should do, man. Keep quiet, ask questions, and learn."
He drove all the way to Berwyn when Sean Dean was doing a camp there for Ego. He drove all the way to Berwyn. Sean wasn't even doing a camp. He was just working the show. And he comes in and he hands him his resume. And he said, "I just want to drop this off. I'm not working the show, but I just wanted to drop this off." And he's like, "Well, you already got over with me." And Glacier was the one that gave him, I sent Glacier a happy birthday text a few years ago, and it took him like 4 days to get back to me. Jordan sends one, and 30 seconds later, "Hey kid, thanks so much. I appreciate you." And I love it, but I also paid you the money when you came in. But he makes these friends, man. And these are guys that he probably paid to meet at StarCast at one point 5 years ago, and now he's I'm not going to say friends because I use that word loosely in the business, but he's respected by them enough. And I was able, to befriend Road Warrior Animal, and we were very close and had many of conversations. And I brought him in to a lot of events and helped him with other stuff. And I know what it's like to have one of your heroes call you on the phone and say, "Hey man, what's going on?" And usually with Animal, it ended up with, "Hey, I'm out of protein. Can you send me a tub of protein?" But because I owned a supplement store at the time, so I was always sending him something. But for Jordan, it's great, man. It's like, Joe Doring walked right up to him at Impact, started talking to him. He's a friend of mine and Jeff's, very close. I mean, obviously you were there when Jeff was, when he came and worked for Powell for a couple times. But it just, everyone puts them over, it's similar to what you're doing, and it just means so much. I love hearing it. So this is like, Rocky Balboa said to his son, like having a kid's like being born again, and you don't understand the statement until you see your kid trying to do what you did. For the first 12 years of my career, my kid could have cared less about what I did. Like wrestling was just wrestling, and then all of a sudden he started coming to shows, and then he wanted to get trained. And there's very few schools out there now, and he went to different schools and learned this and learned that, and then like you said, he got sneaky good. Like he does he reversed he got set off by Ricky Starks, and he did that drop to one knee to reverse it.
Yeah,
and I go, what's that? Like I don't know. I mean, I didn't teach him that. Right. So. But no, it really is the best time right now to be a part of it.